The text tool is actually quite easy to work with. It only gets a little difficult when you're trying to add extra effects. Once you get into the text tool, it's the T right here below our pen tool. You're going to click on it once and you're brought to the horizontal type tool. Depends on whether you want your text to be horizontal or vertical. We're going to choose horizontal for now. And right away you can start typing, although my color is white. I'm going to go up here and change to black so we can see what we're typing. And there's my text. And once I have it chosen like this, I can go ahead and just type whatever I want. So just like that, I was able to create a new text layer. Let's hit the check mark. And there is my text layer. But a lot of times you want things to be a little different. Maybe you want it to be larger, you want it to be bold, maybe you want to change the font. And to do that, go on your layer, go to the T again, then you get this panel up here. So right away, we're going to start from the left. We have the T here, which is just telling you what you're using, the current tool that you're using. Next to it is, again, if you want it to be vertical or horizontal. We're going to keep it horizontal for now. And then we have the font panel. So just click that and it's going to open fonts for you. And when you first get Photoshop, there's a lot of fonts to choose from. Like there's no need for you to go and download each one unless you want a specific font or you would like more options. So when you want to favorite a font, you would click on the star. And the recent ones will also show up here. I have favorited this before. That's why it's showing there. I can also filter through them. So if I go to all classes, click on this, and I can choose which class I'm looking for. Maybe I want serif fonts, and they will show up. There's decorative ones. Just so many options to choose from. You also have some options to either see the fonts that are from Adobe. These are the fonts that I have downloaded and purchased from Adobe Fonts. If I want to see my favorites, I would click on the star. Though if I remove that, I was choosing multiple filters at the same time. And we also have this third option, which is show similar fonts. So it's going to Adobe Fonts and choosing ones that are similar to my current font. It's going to take a while, so I'm just going to go back to get out of there, click out, and then come back onto, I disable the filters just so I can see all of my fonts. To choose a font, you can just click on it and it will be applied to your text. Just make sure that your text has been selected and that if you have multiple layers, you're on the text layer that you want to change. I'm going to double click on my text layer so I can apply the changes directly. And notice how some texts have this arrow here and some don't. What that indicates is that those with the arrow have more options for styles and those without arrows don't. So if I go to this font right here that doesn't have the arrow and I go to the next panel, there's only one option for me. But if I go to the other font that does have the arrow, it'll also open the properties for me. We'll get into that later. I open this and I have so much more options to choose from for the style. I can make it bold, and down here it automatically opened the properties for me. I can change the weight of my text. I can also choose the width. Just some slight adjustments you can see. It does take a little while to apply the changes, but you can just wait for it. And again, if you don't like the font, you can also change it down here. Choose another one. And like we mentioned, some fonts don't have as much options as the other one. This font right now did not have the option for me to change the weight of the letters, but the previous one did. So it all depends on your font. When you're purchasing a font, it will tell you whether it's a singular style or if it's a family. it also has more styles for you to choose from. So be sure to pay attention to what type of font you are downloading. And for now, I'm just gonna go on this font right here. All right. It's the same panel. Some of them are up here, some of them are here. I'm just gonna start from up here. Close this for now. This is where I get to change the size of my font. I could click on this 2 T's, go right to increase and left to decrease. Another way is to type in your points, 50 points, and then hit enter once you're done, or you could bring this drop down menu and just choose a number that you want. All right, and then we have something for the characters. This is where I get to tell Photoshop how I want the characters to look. When you open this, you get some options. Let me click on my font again. I just like to do that to be sure. When I hit none, this does not happen with every font, but yes, actually there is some pixelation. I don't know if you guys can see, there's a little pixelation on the edges, and it does get worse with other types of fonts. Personally, I always leave my this setting on smooth. Notice how those pixelations are gone because it smooths the edges of the characters, which is really helpful, especially if you want to post that poster or print it. You don't want your text to look pixelated and rough. We also have some other options for crisp and smooth. I don't really use these that much, but you guys can go through each one and see which one looks better on your font. For me, it's always smooth. I'm going to leave it on smooth. And once you're done choosing something, you notice the blue line around it. That means that you're still on that setting. So hit enter once you're finished and you're out of it. Okay, let me zoom out. We have some options for alignment like we do in many other apps, whether you want it to be on the left side, the middle, or the right side. Next to that is the color. Right now it's black. Click on it once, you get the color picker. You can either choose a color from your screen if you have an image or a color palette on there, or you could just go through each one. You're seeing the preview here and here. You can also add in a hex code or change the values for yourselves. See which color works for you. I'm going to go with this red for now. Hit OK. And there is my text. This is the basics of the text tool. Just to type something, change the size, the font, and once you're done, hit OK. But we have one more thing that we need to go through, which is giving your text a curve, which is this T with a curve right here. If you click on it once, we have the option to warp our text or curve it. I'm sure you've seen logos where the vector is a circle and there's a text going around the circle in a perfect curve. This is where you could create a similar look. So in the styles, bring down the menu, you have so many options. You can choose arc, which is what you would probably be using. Choose either horizontal or vertical, from which direction should the arc begin. You can decide how bended you want it, or if you want it from the opposite side, you get to choose it here. You can change the horizontal distortion or the opposite way, or the vertical distortion. This is great for posters or logos. We also have some options for arc lower. Let me add the bend. You can see that we made kind of a rocket shape. Arc lower, arc higher, just the opposite way. Sorry, upper. A double arc. And I would have to make this, I guess I'll choose something like this. I can decide the bend. It goes from either side. We have the bulge option. Let me bring this horizontal to 0. So we're just seeing the bend. So we have this candy-like shape. And this is because it's on vertical. You can choose horizontal to make it like that. I'm going to keep it on vertical for now. We have shell lower. Again, if it was horizontal, it would look like this. Looks like a vase. Go to shell upper, the opposite way. Flag, it looks like a flag. You can change the bend. Make it look like a flag. Make it look like a wave. It's only waving the text inside. We have fish. If you turn it horizontal, it will look like a fish. There's our fish. You can choose how small the tail is. We have rise, which goes and elevates upward. Fish eye, which is just a fish eye effect with your text. Inflate, you get to either inflate your text or deflate it. We have the squeeze option, squeeze your text. Again, if you change this option, it will look different. And finally, the twist. It just twists your text to give it a fun look. I'm gonna hit cancel. We're not going to choose any of these. And up here, we have toggle the character and paragraph panels. If you click on this, this is where you get to change the characters, which is just the same panel, which is right here, the character panel. Here I get to change the characters. Again, I have my font here and the style, which is the same thing up here. Then we have the size, same thing. And then this is where new things come. We have the space between two sentences placed on top of each other. Right now, if I put it on 0 or 0.1, it's fine. And I hit enter and I'm trying to write something else. Let's write goodbye. You can see that they are on top of each other and that's not what we were looking for. So if I increase this, I am creating a space between my two texts, but they're in one layer. So if you're writing a paragraph and you want to decide how many points should be between the two lines, if you want to make it double space, single space, you would change that option here. Alright, let me click away, and then we have the metrics. This is depending on what language you're using. You can choose optical. It doesn't really change for English much. It's mostly for languages where things are different. Like if you're writing Arabic, you would have to change from optical to metrics. And then we have the space between the characters themselves. So right now it's on 0. If I increase this, I am creating space or removing space between each of the characters. And if you guys want only a small part of the text to have effect, just select that part and the effect will only be applied to that part. Then we have the height of our characters or letters. If I increase this, I'm making it taller. Decrease it, I'm making it shorter. Same thing here for the horizontal scale. I'm moving it to the right, to the left. It's changing the width of the letter as well. This is different from this. This is changing the space between the letters. This is changing the letters itself. So you can see that it's getting thicker, each of the letters. But on this, the letter size does not change. So there are two different things. And then finally, we have the set baseline shift. The baseline would be this line here. So let me go on goodbye. We also have one for hello. Let me go on goodbye. And if I'm moving the baseline, that just means that, let me click away, I'm moving the line right here. You can bring it lower if you want, bring it higher, your choice. And then we have the color, which is the same thing up here. And here we have some styles to either make it bold, italic, make it all caps, only make the beginning larger than the rest. This is if you want to add these are for if you want to add some mathematical expressions with squares or something. To underline your text, you would go here. To bring a line in the middle of your text, you would do it here. And then we have the option for the language. This is just the presets for the characters. So if you're choosing a different language, obviously the characters would be placed different. I'm not going to change these. I always work with English, so I'm going to keep it as English UK. And then we have the same character option that we did up here. Now these guys are the typeface. You can see that we cannot really access those because the font that I have does not have a typeface. But if it did, this is these will be available, and you can make maybe a single character look like this. They're basically special character styles in a font. In further lessons, we're going to look at fonts that do have typeface, and we will see how we can use these options down here.